On Saturday night, we all landed in Quito, Ecuador. A pastor from a coastal town met us at the airport and spent the trip with us. Pastor Loyola planned most of the trip. Even though it's Sunday, to the locals it's just another day to sell their wares.
Have you heard their crying, or do you turn away? The harvest now is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
This church was started by a PCC grad who is back in the U.S. now due to health problems, but the locals have remained faithful. This building has 4 stories, a basement with bathrooms, a main level auditorium, a second level overflow, and a third level for Sunday school rooms. Our group sang a special, and one of our men preached in Spanish. After church, we had our first clinic at a school.
I will tell them of the crimson flow.
The people signed in and heard the gospel. The kids learned how to brush their teeth and took home a toothbrush, toothpaste, and coloring picture.
Is it too late for caring? Does Jesus really save? Are we truly praying for the blind to find their way?
The adults were offered a vision test and free glasses.
Into a burning hell.
We checked their height, weight, BMI, and blood pressure.
Hear the calling to go and tell. Here am I.
If needed, we also checked their cholesterol and glucose.
I will reach the lost untold.
We saw 200 people. 15 people got saved.
I will tell them of the crimson flow.
On Monday, we went to the same school to do another clinic. In the morning, we measured, weighed, and gave toothbrushes to many of the school kids.
The cause, how can I say that I love him if I don't reply? Here am I will go, I will reach the lost untold, I will give the Lord control, I will tell them of the crimson flow.
They gave us a delicious and filling mid-morning snack. In the afternoon, we saw people from the community.
Here am I, Savior.
We gave out information and held education classes both days. The pastor here wanted his church to be known for medical education, as that is a big drawing point for many locals.
On a hill called Calvary stands an endless mercy tree. Every broken, weary soul find your rest and be made whole. Stripes of blood that stain its frame, shed to wash away our shame. From the scars your love released.
The school recognized each of us and gave us a token of thanks.
Mercy tree in the sky between.
This is Pastor Loyola with this local pastor's wife. That evening, we headed to dinner at the mall.
Bruised and battered, scarred and scorned,
Graffiti is on every wall.
pierced by our thorns. It is finished.
Many houses have electric wires around them. Trash boxes are on every street. Fresh-made juice is common with every meal. The mall was 4 stories. We saw a total of 400 people. 20 people got saved. 50 more requested information about the church. Tuesday was tourist day. We visited the equator, not at sea level. It was very cold and rainy. I got to hold the world in my hands. According to legend, it's impossible to keep your balance while standing on the equator. The view was spectacular at the top of the monument. I managed to get a picture of the dog that lives at the equator. Inside the monument was a museum. These are Auca Indians from the tribe that killed Jim Elliot and his team. They had several interesting science experiments showing how gravity affects things differently on either side of the equator. We enjoyed a Spanish version of evolution in the planetarium. They had demonstrations of how to make chocolate. "100% pure chocolate tastes very bitter."
What this dying world could use is a willing man of God.
The guys had some green screen fun with our tour guide, Pastor Loyola.
And work without applause. A man who raised a shield.
Toilet paper is seldom provided for free. A dispenser here gives out this much for 15 cents. Pastor Loyola ordered a guinea pig at lunch for everyone to try. Even I had a bite. Slimy, chewy, gross.
He doesn't need authorities to reason him away. He doesn't need an army to guarantee a win.
Mitad del mundo means middle of the world.
Good man, men full of compassion, who laugh and love.
I was surprised to see eucalyptus trees here.
Face eternity and aren't afraid to die.
Ecuador has some beautiful flowers.
For freedom and honor once again. He just needs a few good men. He calls the broken down.
This is the only tour bus I saw the entire week I was in Ecuador. After lunch, we drove to the base of a mountain, where we took a cable car to a landing at 13,000 feet.
Lines are open and he wants you to come in. He just needs a few good men. Men full of compassion, who laugh and love and cry. Men who face eternity and aren't afraid to die. Men who fight for freedom
I'm not sure which volcano we're standing on right now, but it sure is beautiful.
Men full of compassion, who have that loving cry. Men who face eternity and aren't afraid to die. Men who fight for freedom and honor once again. He just needs a few good men. Men full of compassion.
I didn't have 5 hours to hike, but I did hike 3,000 more feet.
Men who will face eternity and aren't afraid to die.
It was grueling, but I made it. The views were worth it.
Once again, he just needs a few good men. He just needs a few good men.
This bird just walked right up to us. This church holds weddings. It even has a reception area.
Just as I am and waiting now.
On Wednesday, we drove over the Andes Mountains to Pastor Loyola's town on the coast.
One dark plot to thee whose blood can cleanse each spot, O Lamb of God, I come. I come broken to be mended. I come wounded to be healed. I come desperate to be rescued.
Welcome to Santo Domingo.
Empty to be filled. I come guilty to be pardoned by the blood of Christ the Lamb. And I'm welcomed with open arms, praise God, just as I am. Just as I am, I would be lost, but mercy and grace my freedom bought.
We held a clinic at a men's rehab facility where we sang to them. They all heard a clear gospel message and received basic medical care and education.
Of God I come, I come broken to be mended, I come wounded to be healed, I come desperate to be rescued, I come empty.
We headed to the pastor's house, a camp he inherited from his parents, where we played some bonding games before heading to bed.
And I'm welcome.
We saw 30 men at the rehab facility, and 25 of them got saved. On Thursday, we traveled to a town called Pedernales to hold a clinic in a school. This school, along with much of the town, was destroyed by an earthquake 2 years ago. Each team member walked one child through the clinic. From K3 to 12th grade, they all received toothbrushes and education. In the afternoon, we saw members of the community. After the clinic, we drove around the town and visited the Pacific Ocean. The water was warm, the rocks were colorful, and evidence of crabs was plenteous.
God's love, no mother or father to wipe away the tears. She cries out in the night alone. Bury my heart on the mission field, Lord. I'll go to dry that young girl's tears.
When we got back on the bus, headed back to camp, Pastor Loyola bought us all some local chocolate to enjoy.
Please bury my heart.
The snails grow enormous. These are as big as my palm. That night was Pastor Loyola's midweek service. 2 songs and preaching from 7 to 8, then the offering, 2 more songs, and another sermon until 9. Pastor Loyola told us that every church school we visited that week was started by someone out of his church. The rehab clinic recently had management changes, so he was praising God that he got to preach there again. We saw 250 students and 55 adults at the clinic. The local pastor got 35 contacts for future follow-up. Friday morning, we were supposed to go visit an indigenous tribe, but heavy rains Thursday night canceled those plans. Instead, Jennifer and I spent the morning packing and watching movies with the group before leaving. Goodbye, Pastor Loyola. Goodbye, Ecuador team. I found out later that the bus driver Pastor Loyola had hired for the 2-week trip got saved the day before everyone went home. Jennifer and I rode in a taxi back across the Andes to catch a plane to Peru. We got to the airport at 5:30, so we ate supper there. At 8:30, somewhere over Ecuador or Peru, the airline gave us a free hot meal. When we got to the pastor's house in Peru at 11 p.m., they also had supper ready for us. Goodbye, beautiful Ecuador.
Please bury